30 years ago, I started medical school in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And I still remember sitting in the anatomy theatre being told by one of our professors that 1 in 4 of us at some point in our lives were going to get cancer. And I remember being shocked. This was back in 1995. I looked around thinking, wow, 1 in 4. Now, I know as things stand today, that rate has gone up to 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer at some point in our lives. So, Professor Seafried, you've been studying cancer for decades now. In your view, what's going on?
Well, thanks. Well, you know, in any kind of a disastrous situation, there's never one thing that could be responsible for the rise in a particular disease. I think that there are many factors that come together to account in part for this worldwide epidemic of cancer, where most people that study epidemiology have now considered the view that it's just a matter of time before cancer overtakes heart disease as the #1 killer of people in various countries. So what's going on? When you consider that our ancestral groups of people, cancer was extremely rare in tribes and different populations that live by their standard ways that were common to those folks for centuries. All of a sudden now, we have this explosion within the last, say, 50 or 70 years, an explosion of cancer. And a lot of it has to do with our Western civilization, diet and lifestyle. We have more contaminants in the atmosphere, we have less exercise, and we have far more foods that are poorly nutritious and provide high amounts of carbohydrates. I think you put all this together because there's a direct correlation between the obesity epidemic and cancer, a correlation between the obesity epidemic, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. You put all this together, Alzheimer's disease, all these chronic diseases are on a increased trajectory. So clearly it's linked to a change in diet and lifestyle over the last 50 to 70 years, where we're really starting to see this increase. Even when we said the anti-smoking campaign here in the United States in the 1990s, you know, smoking was a major cause of lung cancer and other cancers. But now with the reduction of smoking, we're still seeing this relentless increase. And obesity now is replacing smoking as a #1 or a major risk factor for the development of cancer. So I think it's a lot of factors coming together, increasing our susceptibility to developing tumors in various organ systems.
Yeah, it's really interesting. One of the ways in which we get trained as Western medical doctors, of course, is that these different diagnoses, these different illnesses are completely different diseases, right? We say things like, oh, you know, this increases your risk of type 2 diabetes. And if you have type 2 diabetes, it increases your risk of another condition called Alzheimer's disease. And what's really interesting hearing you talk about what's happened in the last, well, my question was the last 20, 30 years, but you broadened it out to 50 to 70 years, is that it's not just cancer that's going up. As you say, we know that chronic disease is going up, type 2 diabetes is going up, Alzheimer's is going up, cancer is going up. And I know you have very much been trying to get the message across to people for many decades now that cancer is a metabolic disease. So clearly these things are not quite as separate as they might initially seem.
That's absolutely right. And